Hello, my name's Yvonne from Wellbeing for Life. I'd like to demonstrate how you can select colours to wear and surround yourself with that will help you look and feel good about yourself at any stage of your life. Now, when we wear colours that complement our natural colouring, it does give us a healthier and hopefully younger look. The colours in our palette will also harmonise with each other, and that will enable us to select clothes, accessories, makeup that will mix and match with each other. We're going to work with a 4 seasonal palette. Each palette relates to a season. We've got on the warm side the autumn season, which is very golden. The colours are also quite soft and muted and deep. The spring palette is warm, very bright and light with the colours. The winter palette is very cool, blue based, strong, bright colours, including black. The summer palette is also very cool, much softer than the winter and lighter. So I'm going to give some hints and tips how you can identify the colours that really suit you. You will always suit your eye colour, so that is a good starter. Now we will just give a mention to the black, the colour black. As a colour consultant, I wish I had a penny for every time a client said, please don't tell me I don't suit black, as I have a wardrobe full of black. Now, black can be rescued with your accessories and your makeup. It's the colour that you wear around the face that we want to enhance. But it may be that we're wearing black to make us look slimmer, in which case if it's not in your palette, it can make you look a little bit tired. An alternative may be kinder, a navy or a grey or a brown. Dark colours do help you look slimmer as they do recede, whereas the light colours advance and they can make you look larger, but that can be actually used to your advantage. We will go back to the colour palette, but just a little bit about the background of colour analysis. It was first discovered in the 1920s when art students, when left to their own devices, selected a palette of colours to work with that complemented their own colouring and aspects of their personality and their aura. As a colour consultant, I find that many clients do have a sixth sense and know what colours suit them, and they often just need some reassurances and a little bit of confidence around those colours. And through life we do have some messages and lifestyle changes that steer us away from colours. For instance, if you have a bad experience at school, you may not enjoy wearing the colour of your school uniform. And of course we have messages from often our mothers who say, for instance myself, you can't wear red because you have red hair. And I was often dressed in a lovely golden yellow. And just as an example, when 3 young ladies were given a task of wearing a beautiful dress, they selected colours that fell into their colour palette. Without actually knowing this, they instinctively knew what suited them. And we have the lovely periwinkle blue at the summer palette, and then we have the winter black, the little black number, and then we have a bright red, which would go into the spring palette. And this is just an example of clients having the sixth sense and knowing what suits them. Just a little bit more about the benefits of knowing what suits you. So, benefits of knowing your colour palette. Great first impression. Now, this can be with people you've known a long time or with new people in your personal or professional life. When you wear colours that complement you, people will say you look well and make very positive remarks. And this will help you feel good about yourself. And then you have much more confidence in what you're wearing. We also can save lots of money and time when you know what suits you, because when you're shopping and when you're getting dressed, you don't buy anything on impulse or anything that doesn't suit you, and you don't have garments hanging in your wardrobe unworn that you don't get round to wearing. Research shows that most people wear 20% of what's in their wardrobe 80% of the time, and they're usually garments that we look and feel good in and are comfortable and appropriate for our everyday lifestyle. We do kid ourselves we're going to slim back into those other garments in our wardrobe, or there's those outfits, the wedding outfit that we spent an arm and a leg on and we can't bear to get rid of. However, when we have fewer clothes in our wardrobe but more clothes to wear, we're far more organised, we can see what we have, we do get more value for money, and we can mix and match what is in there. You can have a little bit of fun and carry out your own personal colour consultation. The Wellbeing for Life do have a disclaimer before you carry out any activity. You will need to have a mirror, and you'll also need to have a blank canvas looking like you're going to audition for The Sound of Music. A neutral background is generally helpful as well. Just go around the house and pick up some fabrics and just try them against your skin tone. Hopefully colours that you perhaps wouldn't usually wear, and just give them a try. So I have got a lovely orange cushion cover, and this has really given my skin a creamy look, and I'm comparing this to, keeping in the theme of The Sound of Music, I'm wearing a curtain, and this is a very dark, cool, it's very heavy on me and giving me that grey pinch look. So we'll not wear the curtains today, however I'm loving wearing the orange cushion cover. Another idea, if you are thinking about metals, we can compare simply a piece of tin foil in the silver, and I've compared this to a gold table mat. So taking that away, we can see that the gold is much more flattering. So earlier how we compared the stark white with the oyster towel, and how the oyster is much more, well, kinder. You can simply do this with two pieces of paper we can use, or you are wearing white, but we can use a piece of white paper and compare it to the cream, and we can see the cream is much kinder. So just a couple of ideas of things you can use from around the home to get an idea of what is looking good on you. And once you feel that you have your eye in with the colours, remembering that the warm colours on a warm skin will make the skin creamy and lifted. Warm colours on a cool skin can make the skin look quite sallow. And the cool colours on a warm skin will make the skin tone a little bit bluey grey. Light colours, if they're on a darker skin tone, will make you look a little bit washed out, and darker colours on a lighter skin tone can be too heavy and drag you down a little bit. Bright colour on a softer skin tone will overwhelm, and a soft colour on a bright skin tone won't give enough lift. So they are the three characteristics you are looking for. Warm against cool, your light against your dark, and your bright against your muted. And from there you can then put yourself into one of the seasonal palettes. A couple of examples of clients I have worked with where colour has really made a difference. This is one lady who, wearing a dark colour next to the skin tone, was very heavy, and then simply by using a colour out of her wardrobe, a lighter, brighter colour, really lifted her appearance. And using the use of colour, carrying the dark colour down in the trousers, through to the shoes, giving the illusion of length to the leg and making the client look taller and lifted. So colour can be used in all sorts of ways. An example of one of the Looking Good, Feeling Good models in lovely, bold, bright colours, how the black and the white work with the pop of red, and also the shiny fabric really working with the darker skin tone. So the apple green is lovely and bright, and I would just like to compare it against some of the greens. This is a gorgeous olive green, gives a totally different, more subtle look. And then we're going to have a look at a forest green, which once again is quite subtle and more in keeping with my skin tone. So against the olive and comparing against the lovely bright apple green. As much as I'm loving the apple green as a colour, it's quite overwhelming on me. And the olive green and forest green are far more flattering. From there we can see that the lighter, brighter green wasn't working, and the more soft, muted olive green and the forest green, darker, were more in keeping for me. So let's have a little look at the blues, and this is quite interesting. Now, blue's very cool, and I've got a warm skin, so we do have to be careful if we have warm skin with the cool colours. And this is a lovely light bright blue, but really isn't suiting me at all. Too light, too bright and too cool. We'll compare this against a teal blue. The teal blue is much better for me. It has got more yellow in, it's darker. Teal blue is a very universal colour. So if you do want to experiment with colours, teal blue is a good one to try, because most people will suit teal blue. It is a good colour for uniforms, it's a good colour for bridesmaid dresses, so it is a safe one if you are experimenting with new colours. Another colour that I absolutely love is a royal blue, but is giving me that grey pinched look around the eyes and around the mouth, and it is very bright. The teal blue is softer and warmer and much more in keeping. And then we go once again to the light blue. You will always suit your eye colour, so that is another safe colour for you. And simply here we've seen how comparing a light and a medium in a deeper shade is quite obvious what isn't working. It is a process of elimination. So we have light, and then we had the medium, and then the much deeper, brighter shade, which is overwhelming for me. And the medium is much kinder here. The lighter shade is too light and really making me look quite washed out. So it's really interesting to see how different colours have a different effect on you. Some colours will be better for you than others, but those colours that are perhaps not as flattering, there will be a tone in there that you can wear. So moving on from the blues, as a child I was always told I couldn't suit red. Now red is a colour that will get you noticed. So wearing red, people will listen to what you say when you are wearing red. You will find that world leaders will have a splash of red either in a jacket or a tie or a handkerchief, but it gets you attention. So just remembering that colour does have a psychology side to it as well. So with the reds, I'm going to start with quite a light red, but this red has a little bit of orange in it, so it is much kinder to me than a clear red. This is a tomato red, so we're going a little bit deeper here, and once again it's got a little bit of warmth to it. So a clear red, too much for me, whereas a warm red with that orange and little bit of depth. And here is, it's a rust, and this is part of the red family, and this would be a lovely colour for me to wear as an alternative to black. So having been told in my younger years that I couldn't wear red, I would enjoy wearing the rust, the tomato red and an orange red. They would be the reds for me. Now with your colouring, remember you're looking at warm against cool. You're looking to see if you have light, medium or deep colouring. And we also want to see if you suit soft colours against quite strong clear colours. One way of doing this is comparing a silver and a gold. So this would be to apply to jewellery, or if you are wearing a lurex dress. This is the silver, very shiny, very bright and very cool. And I'm going to compare this to an antique gold. So the antique gold is very warm, it has got some depth to it, and it is much more flattering than the silver. Now I could wear jewellery in an antique gold with any of my colours, and it is going to complement. So just to see the cool silver again, very stark in ageing. Remembering that a piece of inexpensive fashion jewellery can lift any outfit, particularly if you're wanting to rescue the black in the wardrobe. It can really lift a piece of black and just really give that glow around the face. So wearing a bright, warm gold, someone in the public eye that would suit this colour would be Prince Harry and Nicole Kidman with their lovely light bright colouring. We're going to compare this to an antique silver, very subtle, very cool. So once again, the coolness on my warm skin gives that grey tinge. However, this on a cool skin, for example, someone like Judi Dench, David Beckham would suit this lovely soft antique silver. It would be very flattering. The warm colour on a cool skin would give a bit of a sallow look, and actually you can look a little bit unwell. A cool skin with the warm colouring. Having a look at the antique gold against the shiny gold, it's all about softness again. It has got some depth, but there's still the warmth there. So this would fall into the autumn palette, and the shiny gold would fall into the spring palette, whereas we have the shiny silvers, lovely and bright and cool, and the antique silver, this would be more the summer palette, and the winter palette can take the shine. When we've got an idea what's working with our skin tone, we can remove the headpiece and see if the hair colour we have is working with the skin tone. Now at the moment it's locked down, so we're doing the best we can. I'm not a hair professional, but I do know that when I'm buying a hair colour I need to go for warm and nothing too deep and nothing too light. So generally knowing the colour that suits me is helpful when selecting hair colour. So we're going to look at the seasonal palettes again, just to remind us of our characteristics and which season they fall into. So we have the winter season. This is where the characteristics would be cool and deep and bright. Now an example of someone in the public eye with cool colouring would be Oprah Winfrey, Tiger Woods. Summer, we have once again the cool colours. These are much softer and lighter. An example of someone in the public eye from the summer palette would be David Beckham, Joanna Lumley, Kylie Minogue. And if we move over to the warm palette, warm, these are quite medium to deep, and they're very soft rather than bright. And my colouring falls into the warm palette. The spring palette is once again warm, light and bright. Examples of people in the public eye that would fall into this season would be Prince Harry, Nicole Kidman. So just to give you an idea of the appearance of people in the public eye that would fall into these different palettes. Wearing and surrounding yourself with colour really does help you feel good about yourself. And when you know what colours suit you, it's probably a good idea to take a photograph or carry something around that reminds you of those colours. I give my clients a little colour swatch. I find it quite difficult to carry colour in my head, so it's quite useful if you have a little reminder there. I am just going to mention the psychology around colours because I find that so fascinating, and people do use colour in their everyday life to project messages. Now, red is a colour of energy and motivation. It is used for romance. We recognise it around Valentine's. Green is a colour of reassurance and balance, and blue is a colour of logic and calm. So if you want an area where you want to sit and relax, perhaps it would be an idea to have blue in that area. Purple is a colour of spirituality and wisdom, and yellow is very uplifting and gives a message of happiness, but also quite a lot of confidence around yellow. Pink is non-threatening, but not taken very serious if you're wearing pink, whereas orange is very much a fun and sociable colours. So wearing those colours can give messages across about your mood and about what you are saying. It's been an absolute joy working with so many different clients over the last 21 years around colour and style, and seeing how colour has been the first step to an absolute amazing and successful journey of self-discovery and success. But it's just fun, and when there's fashion colours come along, it's good to include those. It keeps you up to date. If this season's fashion colours aren't in your palette, you can still wear them just in a bag or an accessory, as long as they're not worn next to the skin tone. So this season we're all about pastels and pinks. My best pink would be salmon, but I perhaps go for a nice pop of pink in a fun bag, and that would keep me up to date. So really just enjoy experimenting and trying different colours and wearing them, and enjoy it. And thank you so much for being part of Colour Analysis. Bye bye.